Adam Valkin is one of my favorite people because we know each other for, I think, 16, 17 years from my London times. Welcome back, and he's a great investor. Thank you so much for coming.
Sit here.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. My name's Adam Valkin. Thanks for the kind introduction, Marco. I'm a partner at a US-based venture capital firm called General Catalyst. We manage about $5 billion that we invest primarily in the US and Europe. In 2014, we discovered a very small company in Krakow, Poland, that had been backed by a great German-based firm called NOAH19 that was essentially helping Polish and Russian students build a network to help each other with homework. And we thought that was really interesting and contacted Michal, who had never been to the United States. And after a couple Skype calls, he flew to visit us, which we were very excited about, and we landed up partnering. And essentially, from those humble beginnings in Krakow, he has built the largest global network of high school kids that help each other with homework. And today has over 150 million monthly unique visitors as part of his community. So, Michal, how did you do it?
Thank you, Adam. And in fact, that trip to the US, I think it was one of the fastest signed term sheets ever. We made the deal in like 2 days. But I think it's important to go to the very beginning, and that the very beginning is my high school. So I've been lucky that my class was very collaborative. So when I had a question and I got stuck with homework and I got frustrated about that, there was always a friend who was willing to help me. And then after a few years, when I started building products for the internet, I realized that this behavior and moving that behavior from offline to online can be very powerful. So yeah, we started in Poland, built the product. At some point, we started being used by almost all students in Poland, and then started going to more markets like Russia, Brazil. And yeah, that brings us to where we are right now, 150 million monthly users. But the opportunity is much bigger. The way we look at the world is that there is more than 1 billion students. On top of that, there are teachers and parents, and all of them benefit from Brainly.
So tell us a little bit about the secret sauce, because I think one of the most interesting things and compelling things to us as an investor was that you got almost all high school kids in Poland, most high school kids in Russia, so roughly 5 million in Poland, 25 million in Russia, to connect and use the service on a regular basis without spending any money on marketing. And then you've done the same thing in Turkey, Brazil, the United States. So what is the secret sauce of how you do this?
Yeah, I think there, like, first of all, like we base our growth on a network effect. So when students come to Brainy to interact, every interaction we put into our knowledge base, and that's basically question and answer. And then the bigger the knowledge base gets, more people are coming, more people means more questions, more answers. So in fact, that's an organic growth model. So, and around that model, we mastered two things. First thing is that we managed to launch new markets without setting up local teams. So we have a centralized operation, and right now, more than 60% of students in Indonesia use us every month, and we do that with a team based in Poland. And the second thing is, as you mentioned, like there is, like on marketing spend. Like we've built a model that is a content play that is fueled by SEO and word of mouth that basically makes students to come to us. We don't really need to do any advertising to start building traction in a market.
Yeah. So from a fundraising perspective, you've managed to raise money from great firms, exclude us, but NOAH19, probably the leading seed fund in Europe, Naspers, one of the largest global growth investors. Anything to share with the audience about your journey as not just a European founder, but a founder from a sort of non-core, it's not like you're from London or Berlin or Tel Aviv. Poland is a country that has probably not attracted as much venture capital money. So any learnings that you can share about that journey?
Yeah, I think that from the very beginning we were clear about what we are doing well, and we've been like always clear with communicating that. But obviously that message like didn't stick with everyone. So you were brave enough to invest in a company that had traction in Poland and Russia, and believe that we can enter the US and be successful in that market. And that requires a specific set of consumer focus, understanding the products that are going to be loved by millions of people, and that ability to bet on the right team. And obviously then on our end, it's to deliver the message about the network effect, about the zero customer acquisition cost, and that's pretty much how we've made it.
Very good. So you now have clear market leadership, sort of no one, I guess, even close in terms of the size of the community. With the kind of liquidity you have now, the focus is shifting towards monetization and really building the business. Can you tell us a little bit about, we've kind of discussed maybe the last 5 years. What does the next 5 years entail?
The overarching vision is simple, and every student in the world should use Brainly and should benefit from the power of our product. But we also started including parents and teachers. So right now, about 15% of our usage comes from parents. But what we are focused on right now is proving the monetization model. And the way we monetize is via what we call ad-supported freemium model. So there is a free version that has ads and all of the content, but some limited features around that content. And then there is a paid version with no ads and full access. And that's our key focus right now. But obviously, we do that together with working on our growth. And the two markets we are focused on right now is the US, and we are doing pretty great. About 20% of all students are using us every month in the US. And we are also very excited about India as a key educational
So let's talk about India. India is, I guess, one of the two large countries by population. And you only launched there a couple of years ago and have become the largest education community in India without spending a dime. What is the possibility for this company in India?
What drives my excitement in India is the push for education. Whenever I go to the market, I see the genuine interest in everybody that they see the path that education is the catalyst for their growth in their professional life. And that drives the spend of parents on education. So in India, about 20% of the household income is spent on education. And because there is a lot of work to do to catch up with infrastructure, in fact, online education is considered to be that great step ahead of any other educational systems that are out there. So when you think about the ability to monetize the value proposition that we create in India, it's huge.
Yeah.
Because from the very beginning, there is a lot of value considered in the online platforms that help the country to overcome the infrastructural challenges.
Yeah. So I can see that Marco was sitting here thinking while you were talking that if this service had existed when Marco was in high school, he may have actually graduated high school.
I was cheating, so I'm not. No, I mean, we opened the conference and said we are going now into 10 verticals because e-commerce, advertising, and all the marketplace platforms, it's kind of consolidated. There are these big platforms.
Yep.
So we have to go to the new verticals and education. And I used to be a banker for the education sector. And we are looking for the Google of education, the Google of healthcare. And I'm really pleased you're here because these are the companies, I think, which will be huge in 5 to 10 years, not just by usage, but also by revenues. You keep on bringing these interesting guests to us, Adam. I'm really, really happy about that.
Keep inviting me. I'll keep bringing interesting guests.
That's the deal.
Thank you very much.